Hmm. I think Maru actually tried this 2-on-1 build that looked really cool in the GSL, where he would follow it up with a relatively fast third command center and then Widow Mine drops. So I wonder if that's what he's aiming for right here.
And here comes our first two medevacs. 16 Marines exactly lifting up. Gonna find an Overlord in the middle here, so they can drop off for that right away. Obviously, this is one of those builds where you kind of just take anything you get given, right? An Overlord, yep, absolutely. You find some creep spreads, sure, we'll take that as well. And Serral does have a lot of Overlords around the edges here. Maru might run into this one as well. He will. He'll drop, he sees it, and he can move towards it, and he will catch that as well. So 2 Overlords already. Serral hitting a couple supply blocks, although quickly out of them because of this. And Maru already doing okay, and maybe a scan here, get rid of some creep, and just push back that map control.
Yeah, good pickoff so far. You would usually guess that maybe this delays his timing, but the first 2 medevacs is not what's scary. It's actually the first 3 medevacs with this build that can start trading out. So usually you want to keep all the HP on the Marines anyways, on the medevac energy, and you don't really want to commit with the first 2. So let's see how Serral deals with this triple medevac aggression.
Yep, as the third one shows up, he has already got a few Banelings on the way, so that will force some target fire and perhaps some splitting from the Marines, depending on how the fight ends up going. So that's one thing to watch for here, as the Queens will take some damage. Transfusions going down, keeping that Queen alive. Widow Mine goes off topside as well. Now the Ling Bane feels a bit more comfortable to move forward. But these Marines are going to stay active, and they're going to keep pushing these Queens back for the moment. Trading well, getting a few Lings as well. Obviously, Serral just finds it difficult to move in because his Banes will just get instantly target fired down. Maru going to attempt to drop in the main, but he will have to go past a Spore. He actually does get around the side of it, but taking the long route means the Lings are already in position.
Yeah, Serral really anticipating that drop into the main base. He knows that that is also one of the difficulties, where if you have everything on the low ground, the Terran can just lift into the main base. It might be hard to clear up. He actually even left Zerglings there initially as well, until he realized, oh, that's a lot of units. So then eventually he took them towards the main army. He's also going to catch up in the upgrades, so probably even get ahead of Maru, since Maru is just on 1 e-base so far. Or I think he has W, but at least he only started 1 upgrade.
Yep, just a single upgrade off 2 e-base, so something to fix there. Further down the line, perhaps, he tries to keep active. He tries to keep on denying map control by denying the creep spread. As he now makes his way around to the right-hand side, we'll try and work his way in from here as well. Serral catches him right away. Marines are getting caught by Banelings. There's a tank set up here, but yeah, that was some damage taken.
Yeah, that was some damage taken for sure. Not the best start for this push of Maru. He needs to actually really watch out. He has enough to lift this all up, but obviously the moment you commit into sieging these tanks, they are going to be exposed. Serral actually setting up for a big counter attack. Maybe he's just going to use it as a flank after all, after seeing that Maru is actually committing forward with this.
Yeah, that makes sense, of course. There's Ling Bane just off to the top side there, ready to move in when these Lings swoop in from the right-hand side as well, looking to get rid of these tanks. Wants to, of course, save this hatchery. He's getting lower and lower. One more transfusion comes in. There's the lift-off. Maru wastes no time at all getting out of there and unloading his Marines out on that right-hand side, but he's going to get forced to lift again as the Banelings arrive. And Serral again continues to turn this around. A bit of money in the bank here from Serral as he starts up his Overlord speed. Doesn't have any lair tech. It is just Ling Bane for the moment, and he's got a little bit of a lava issue.
Yeah, if we look at the resources lost tab at this point in the game already, Maru has been trading twice as effectively as Serral, but he hasn't killed too many units, and he also didn't open with the most economic opener, so Serral is still absolutely in it. Now he finally actually gets this 5th base, which Serral did not have the drones for to mine with anyways, but it's still nice because Serral is going to have to remake that, of course, and by now I feel like Serral kind of has the space to make those drones. Anyways, a little bit of a mistake there by Maru to drop these.
There's like a couple of burrowed Banelings there who were just kind of unexpected, and Maru moved at the right time just as they went off to avoid most of the damage. While Adrenal Glands is well underway, and obviously that is the only thing we're really seeing off this hive. Finally, we've seen Ultra Cavern going down as well. There is an unreal amount of Lings on the map. There are 140 Zerglings on the map right now. That is a bit crazy.
Yeah, of course, since Maru didn't attack yet, he wasn't forced to morph all of them into Banelings yet, and even though he still has a pretty healthy Baneling amount, now he's trying to go in there. There's mostly just tanks. There's not actually that much bio here. He's gonna get at least all the tanks. Good focus fire from Maru though. Takes down all the Banelings and saves the planetary. Doesn't even need to cancel and lift that. Very efficient fight for the Terran. At the same time, he's dropping into the main base, and his 3rd base is also defended well. And Serral finally felt like he could do something on the other side of the map, but that was not the most effective way of doing things. And that's where you really see the differences between someone like Maru and Clem, because Clem is gonna do more stuff on your side of the map, but Maru is super well set up defensively, so even if the aggression shifts towards the Terran side of the map, it can actually favor the Terran, very much so.
Absolutely, as Maru is going to find himself just lifting up here once again, just avoiding any sort of confrontation with that supply lead, definitely getting into better and better spots. I mean, I know that Viper's out, right? I know the Ultra Caverns on the way, but it just feels as though, I don't know if that's going to be enough to turn the tides here for Serral. It doesn't feel like he's really getting any units out that are going to be kind of showstoppers.
True.
Yep. Spy would be nice, just something else to help you out along the way as the game progresses later. Or again, a very entertaining back and forth game one between Maru and Serral. Full on activity on the map still from Maru. Still has drops top left and bottom right. Teching up behind this all. You do come out Ultras, kindness plating kicking in. And like you say, maybe an opportunity here with these Ultras for a little while. Still Burrowed Banelings trying to get stuff done as well, but not really finding the most success.
Yeah, Maru actually did transition into the Widow Mines as well. I think he even is on 3 factories right now, so he added 2 extra ones, which is relatively uncommon to see, so he's going to be very Widow Mine heavy. That also means that he can't go for some of those more direct pushes, and it looks like he's going for some of that more passive style. It seems to me as if he just wants to survive into late game, which, as long as he trades as well as he's doing right now, sounds like a good plan to me.
Yep. If you get to the late game while trading well, you're typically going to get into a very good spot where it's difficult for the Zerg to really fight back. You get to a very good army that continues to trade very well, and eventually the Zerg kind of runs out of units. Of course, there's still a lot more you have to do to keep that up, as we do drop a bio in. This time the medevac will go down, one of them at least. The other will make a getaway with just a couple of units, so a drop being really shut down for once this time. Serral is also at the same time coming to the top side. He's going to drop parasitic bombs on the medevac. The Viper's over these units, but nothing really happens of it. The Ling's going to try and outrun the Widow Mine shots. The Lings just end up in a choke point. They won't do much, but at least he is able to deny this top left base for a little while.
Yeah, that was already really good. I think Maru's going to have a hard time really establishing that base because of how late his upgrades are. Also, all of his medevacs are 1 HP now because he didn't actually split them at all. Like, those parasitic bombs did maximum amount of damage. Even one friendly fire Widow Mine hit could take down all of those, so we can keep that in mind for now. Serral's Spire has been done now. I think eventually you want to go into Broodlords, but not yet. I think for now, you try to keep the mobile army on the map, you try to force mistakes out of the Terran, you try to take trades, and then later on, as your bank starts building, that's when you transition into the Broodlords.
Alright, well, we're actually going for a big run by right here. Ling's Bane's going to get on top of a couple of tanks. We've got Vipers looking for what they want to do. They dropped a Blinding Cloud on a tank that was already kind of done for. Then they got EMP, but they're on top of this base. They're forcing a liftoff. Not really an answer to the couple of Liberators, of course. Ling's on the other side as well, dealing damage. And Maru is all of a sudden down 39, 40 workers. And Serral has just deleted 2 whole mineral lines.
Yeah, that was a great 1-2 punch. Maru not exactly paying attention at the top there, and his tank also helped the Zerglings out a lot with the friendly fire, obviously. Serral does have 3-3 and Adrenal Glands done, and those SCVs only had +2 armor, so if SCVs ever go to an exposed mineral line, which this was the perfect timing since the planetary wasn't done, they are just gonna eat them up alive. Serral is mostly losing minerals. Oh, that was a good Widow Mine hit, so that's a good defense there by Maru. Maru now completely moving out towards the bottom. He realizes there are 2 fresh bases that are mining here, and he actually gets across the map, which is usually the hardest part with his army. Now he sieges up. Great Blinding Clouds, not a single siege tank is firing. Also good baits on the Widow Mines with the Overseers. And I think you should have enough Ling Bane there to completely clear this up, and I don't think the medevacs can get out either because of the Corruptors now.
No, they cannot, which means that these ghosts are somewhat stranded, but there's no detection left. The Overseers are gone, so the ghosts will, at least for now, get to live for a little while longer, and they're going to start auto-attacking a hatchery in the bottom right, and I guess they're actually going to get it, so the ghosts survive. Big win for Maru at the end, considering the ghosts get to live when maybe they shouldn't have done, but that's really the only win. Otherwise, it was a massive cleanup from Serral, got a lot of value in that trade out.
Yeah, Serral is starting to really struggle on the mineral income part. As most of the units, the actual army units that fight, are very mineral heavy from the Zerg army still. Now, once he actually wants to transition to Broodlords and Infestors, that's going to be the gas bank that he has right now is going to come in great. But for now, he just can't use it on useful units. You can start adding some Infestors in, but they don't exactly help with the style of constant aggression, constant run by. Like, Infestors are not going to be great there. So for now, he's still just making Zerglings. So a lot of these extra resources that Serral has mined are not entirely useful, which makes this game so close right now.
Yeah, it's something that can help him out later, but again, immediate future talk, not quite so much as that orbital lifts off Serral, still using a lot of Lings. Bane's morphing in as well. And yeah, just Serral unable to max out. He will catch a couple units here, a couple Marauders that get surrounded. The Ghost Shop, though. Ghosts are great against Zerglings, of course, even if they're just auto-attacking, so one more thing to keep in mind.
I feel like there's a complete minefield on the left side. It's going to be very, very difficult for Serral to break through there. Even though there isn't that many actual bio units, if you spread forward your units one by one, the ghosts still are enough to take out those Zerglings. So Serral right now trying to kill the top left-hand side. I really wish that he would actually start transitioning to Broodlords just based on the gas bank, because he's not going to start trading efficiently or more efficiently the longer this goes. Maru, by the way, forgot Concussive Chest, which is pretty big against Lingbane.
A couple of Widowmines going to get some good shots again. A Widowmine dead center on the Lingbane there, and that has got to hurt. Yeah, I can get behind the Broodlords, also just something to use the Corruptus for later game, and just gives you like a real late game answer, whereas right now, you're stuck in this army, which Maru is trading well against, and now pushing forward against as well. He's got a massive army supply lead, and Serral's just making more Lingbane to try and hold this off, which is going to be concerning.
Absolutely, a lot of Bennys come forward. Great Widowmine connection once again. And yeah, all of these trades are pretty bad for Serral. Serral obviously can afford to give up this base, since Maru is not mining that base on the other side of the map by any means, and Serral still has a lot of fresh bases on the bottom right-hand side. But I really think he needs to switch it up a little bit. It's so difficult, because you feel like the moment you start up Pathogen Glands, at the moment you start the Greater Spire, you might just die. But with the gas bank that he has, it's either this or Lurkers, and Lurkers are even further away, so yeah, I wouldn't mind it. But as long as Maru keeps moving out, maybe the Lingbane can also keep doing some magic.
We'll see. Maru is going to have another massive Widowmine shot. The Widowmines have been phenomenal throughout the last few minutes. They have just been non-stop, connection after connection. And yeah, if you put every one of those in the highlight reel, we're going to be here for a while after the series as well, because this first game alone has had a lot of them. As we hit the bottom right base, Lingbane will run in for this right now. Only one Widowmine that I could see, otherwise it's Ghost Bio. The Ghosts do cloak up. There's still a couple Overseers alive though, but not enough Lingbane to get rid of them, so these Ghosts are still alive. Now the Overseers are gone. The Banes won't do enough, and Serral is going to continue to lose in the bottom right corner. He blows up the top left though, while the Orbital survives. 13 SCVs do not. And now we've got Lings on top of these Ghosts, but of course the Medivacs are here to evacuate. And the Corruptors are not in sight, because they, I believe, have all been slain in that last battle.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the supply right now is a little misleading, because Serral has 77 workers, but he doesn't have bases to mine from them. Half of them are long distance mining from the top left, and the other half are long distance mining from the bottom right, which means the actual income is not so much in his advantage, which leaves us with a huge army supply advantage for Maru.
Yeah, massive army supply advantage. Serral's obviously economy then, as you said, not creating the swell of units that you kind of need or expect from this drone count. And that's going to be his big problem. He's not going to be able to kind of hold out in this game if Maru can keep on fighting and keep on trading and keep bases denied especially. Serral tries up for a couple more Vipers as Maru retakes bases and even more forward position now as well, getting this top left side of 2,000 atmospheres completely under his control. And it does feel like Maru is maybe a trade, maybe two trades away from maybe just running Serral dry right now, as 5,000 gas sits in the bank of Serral. He has had zero answer for that all game long.
Yeah, he is finally starting to add some Vipers, and oh no, he's gonna try to actually engage in there. I think that's a huge mistake. There are so many Widowmines. Serral just feels like he needs to deny that mining from Maru, but that was not the trade that he was looking for. He got some of the bio units there, but that was most of his own ground army, as he's trying to invest into extra hatcheries to finally put those drones to some good use. I mean, his army is becoming smaller and smaller. He barely has any Zergling Baneling left on the ground.
Yeah, it's just not going to feel like it's going to be enough here. Like you said, the Widowmine count there was phenomenal. And there's still, what, like 11 mines just on the map in general? A couple over here, get a few Zerglings to begin with as well. And that's just another frustration Serral has to go through, waiting to get some detection here. Should be an Overseer showing up on your screen right now that will clean these out. So at least these mines go down, but Maru is now rotating to the bottom right-hand side, taking the attention away from his own base top left and putting the pressure back on.
Yeah, Serral is gonna have to take a fight here, and it's gonna be a... I can't imagine it being a pretty fight either. Good pre-split on the Widowmines, the Ghosts are in the back. Good spread on the Marauders and the Marines as well. The Medivacs kiting away from the Vipers that are trying to get in. G is called, and Maru takes a 24-minute long game on 2K Atmosphere.
So second racks once again here. Is there any potential this changes up towards 3 racks, or are we just going to see yet again 2-on-1?
I think it's just 2-on-1 again. I think 3 racks is always reactor first and not Reaper first, because that is really like the one punch needs to be as strong as it possibly can.
And now gets shown up. Both of them together go across the map. We do not go for the additional medevac this time around. The starboard switch straight off to make room for the Widow Mine. Now he gets the medevac. Sorry, did that happen last time too? Maybe I'm just being a bit silly.
Yeah, that's how you usually do it, but yeah, no worries. That's just the third medevac needed, and then you use the reactor for the extra barracks right away. Either way, it doesn't make that much of a difference. For now, he's just trying to find some units. One thing that also Serral did as a little bit of a mistake is he left his overlords on the map and lost 2 of them, right? This time, not so much. He just deflects it without losing anything so far, so this is starting off as well as it possibly can.
Yeah, I forgot about those couple overlords. Yeah, I forgot about those couple overlords last time, but that's true. The first 2 medevacs got 2 overlords and has to cancel that base. Good that it doesn't get killed at least, but that's a cancel and a dead drone, so slowed down a little bit here. As otherwise, yeah, looking very good. And here should come extra medevacs, so again, similar to before, we get this into play, and we'll see what Maru can do with this attack.
Yeah, I like that he's taking the bottom fort now instead. Even though you usually prefer the top one, there was no kryptonite whatsoever towards the bottom one, and you obviously realize once the 2 medevacs are there, the 3 are also going to hit from that angle. So I really like that he's not like, okay, this base is just the better one to take. He's flexible, he just takes the other one. Now the fight starts. A lot of Zerglings dying for free here so far, and the Queens are not firing all the time. Really good trade so far. Good focus fight also with the Widow Mine. Yeah, killed some of the Banelings, and this already is looking a little bit better than before. Oh, that Baneling connection actually was crucial there.
Yeah, if that Baneling connection doesn't go off, Maru will just kite away, kill off a couple extra Banes, and then just keep on trading. It was going very, very well for him. But yeah, that one Baneling that manages to connect just slows it down enough that Maru has to back away, and now will have himself a defense on that Ling on the 3rd base. Obviously, he can open up that mining base, and otherwise, Maru is very far ahead on the upgrades here. 1-1, and not just the +1 this time.
He also did go into tanks, so the Ling Bane is the preferred answer to that, so Serral is already on the right path there. And this is kind of what I talked about. On the game before, he also stopped at 60 workers, which is just 3 mineral line base saturation. But I feel like he could get away with mixing a couple extra drones. He agrees with me and now starts a couple extra drones as well. I think that's actually really important to keep a little bit of the economic advantage. This is why this fort base sometimes can be so dangerous, because it's a lot closer towards the Tyrant's own 3rd base, so it's a natural reinforcement path. Now that Maru finally joined up with all of his units and Serral didn't quite have a counterattack ready, he looks to be fighting here. I really like the queen count of Serral, completely tanking all the tank shots in the bottom of the fight, and the Banelings actually make all their way through towards the bottom part of the Marines.
I mean, he actually didn't quite get a Baneling shot off, not a really good one at least. Counterattack gets cleaned up as well, so Maru can continue to bring reinforcements back across the map. He'll lift up here. The Marines on the top side have not been challenged by anything for a while, and now he'll have everything back to the top, ready for reinforcements to arrive. And Maru is going to keep sweeping on in. There's no Banelings ready right now. Apologies, there's a single Baneling ready right now. He actually gets an okay shot, but even behind this, there's only 6 more finished morphing. The Baneling count's a big issue. Maru's just going to keep up this pressure, keep on hammering onto this base.
Yeah, and at this point also most of the Queens are out of transfuse energy. There also has been a lack of injects. That's why he's producing 5 more Queens, because he otherwise can't spend the money. Not enough Banelings once again to connect towards the Marines. Good target fire by Maru, and he stims forward trying to take out the Queens now.
Yep, Queen's going down, so, I mean, with that, the drone's actually going to be pulled in as well. The Liberator Siege is up, but the Queen count might not be able to do it. He will just keep enough Queens alive. Gets rid of the Lib, and Maru has to lift off back just off creep, but once again, reinforcements are here. This 4th base is a goner. It's gone, and now we're just going to see a few Lings chased down as well, up to the top. And I mean, at this point, Maru says, well, if I don't see Banelings, I'll just keep on trading, because I'm very happy to kind of stim in all day towards only Ling production.
Yeah, and he even finds a Baneling as his post at the natural. Now, Serral finally finds that one last tank that was remaining, but he had to give up a lot of Zerglings in the process once again. And even though Maru was relatively committed on it, he does have 2 to finishing himself, and he does have a 4 CC, a 2nd factory on the way, and it's looking fantastic for the Korean Terran. Those Liberators being cleaned up nicely by Serral, but that was only half of Maru's army. Oh, he actually catches a siege tank there. He also caught the bottom part of the army. Now Maru kind of trying to flank the Ling Bane. Been getting awfully close there to a couple of Marines. Another small mistake by Maru. But Serral needs a bunch more of this happening if he wants to fight his way back.
Yeah, we are a long way off Serral getting back into this game. Still down 40 supply. These Marines continue down here. Did not quite see those Banes, as clearing out a mineral line of Maru, of course, would be amazing. If Serral can get those Banelings connect well, that could be at least one step in the right direction. Senseo just went up though, so Maru might now see it ahead of time, as you do see just an evacuation of whatever Marines he can there. The creep through the middle is good, but of course Maru's never really been focused through the middle of the map. He's always hitting from the top side or the bottom side, and that's Serral's big issue. Like, yeah, he's got some good creep spread, but not where it matters most.
Yeah, that's true. And now Maru once again trying to just focus fire down. There's no Bellings here inside, so he's gonna get that hatchery. He's even trying to get the other one. I think that's a little bit optimistic. Maru manages to pick up just in time to evacuate some of these units. I mean, Serral is doing a fantastic job at staying alive, but he has Hive on the way. It's not like there is a second stage to what Serral is doing. It's not like he can transition from Ling Bane anytime soon. So really, yeah, I think once Maru gets his entire army together, I think it's gonna be almost impossible to win a fight.
He's catching a drone in the bottom right. The rest of this army in the center set up as well. We've got an army moving around the right side from Maru. And this Ling Bane force of Serral just out on the left as well. Here we go, big force in the middle. The tanks are already sieging, and Serral just decides he needs to disengage from that one. And he's still going to struggle to take a proper fight here. Massive counterattack, top side turned around immediately as well. And yeah, just Maru on his way to 3-3 as well, while Serral tries to get up to Hive. Burrowed Banelings are caught without having a chance. And let's see if Serral can maybe find some Baneling connections here. He does jump on the tanks before their siege, so one of the better fights you're going to find, but it's still just these Marines in the back that are just putting out so much damage while those tanks did some tanking.
Yeah, the tanks doing some tanking, and Maru, I mean, Serral is fighting back really, really well. I think if he took fights like this all along, I don't think he would be in this situation, but that being said, Maru just keeps motoring up, and as long as he's trading evenly, that's fine for him, because for once, the Terran is actually the one that's completely outmining the Zerg here. And yeah, that just means that as long as he doesn't completely mess up and get everything caught by Banelings, all of this is fine for Maru. GG is called. Now, of course, Maru is actually very good at proxy 2 Rexing. Usually he does it when he's behind. And he's also, he can work some magic, as we already see the second Varix go down once again. It's crazy that he just plays this every game. I mean, and here is that armory, by the way. This is the build that I've been talking about a little bit earlier, where he follows it up with some Widow Mines.
Nice that he really changes it up on the follow-up this time around. So gonna get those cloaked up Widow Mines are rolling. And we do see our first Marine's gonna be finding some Lings right away. Don't like that from Serral, obviously. That was a bit of a commitment in that he thought he could win, but did not work out too well at all. And that's a fair few Lings lost, as Marines now advance up to the top side, and these few Queens getting ready to make their stand.
He has enough Queens there. This position is pretty scary, because if you chase too far, you really need to make sure that the Lings are in the main before the medevacs start unloading, because then the Queens are going to be super far out of position. He barely got there in time. If all of those Marines unload, they win the fight, and then the Queens are out of position. So good defense by Serral so far.
Clutch defense by Serral, like you say. A moment or two longer, and this goes very, very wrong for you. And, well, there's an extra factory on the way up as well, so we are really producing up into those Widow Mines soon as our third medevac will arrive. Our third CC is ready. And of course, we're going to start up drilling claws on that factory's tech lab pretty much right away, I would imagine.
He actually catches some Zerglings there that are trying to destroy the rock. The rock obviously not going to come in too handy this time around for Maru, because he's not going for any sort of tank push. So it's not actually as important for Serral. But it would still be nice to clear it up. Either way, he should notice now that that Widow Mine is cloaked, which is not normal. So he starts off in overs here, and I wouldn't even hate some extra spores.
Yeah, it always feels as though when they go for these drilling claw drops and so on, that just having a little bit of a spore crawler kind of, you know, blocking the way in just hits those medevacs early. You've got detection all around your mineral lines. It can just be that little bit of extra something you need to help out here as we go for a cancel on the fourth base. Always big to cancel the fourth, and we will commit and get it. Baneling did not get there to connect at all, and that medevac looks as though it will get out alive as well. That was the one kind of scary thing towards the end there. But yeah, everything gets out alive from Maru with a cancelled fourth base. Serral going to be hurting a little bit.
For sure. Now Maru is finally starting to load up the first actual Widow Mine job. We're going to walk towards the natural base of Serral. I wish the moment he realizes there's an armory, he would just go up to like 70, 80 drones at the very least. He's going for a Hydrodon, which I really like. It's good against the Widowmine style. But yeah, now he's starting up 8 drones. Like the Widowmines, basically, it makes it so it's impossible for you to die as a Zerg, because there's not going to be some straight up pushes. And instead, you are going to lose some drones, but the more you have, the more you can lose.
This Widowmine drop is going as far as it can. We burrow 1, we burrow 2, and it'll do okay. A few Lings, Banes, and Drones, and now we drop into this natural mineral line as well. We keep 1 Widowmine active to head toward the main base, as this Widowmine actually takes a turn back. It's going to set up on a drone. Yeah, that 1 Widowmine in the main. Is Serral paying attention here? No, he is not, and that's the big connection. And now it's 11 drones down from these couple of drops. Also make some Marauders. 2 more drones go down. This medevac might live to drop another day, as we have... I mean, this is already, what, like 6 Widow Mines up here? That's a lot of mines. They're going to start splitting up right now. Serral needs to get rid of some of these before they get to connect, as one of them was right up on top of the Queens. We now shoot at the Overseer, which gets targeted down, so no Overseer here means you can't get them very easily. And the first Widow Mine shots that really go off are pretty good. A couple Banes do connect, but some of these Widow Mines won't get cleaned up due to the lack of Overseer, and that's really bad. If these mines get to live for a second round of firing, that's going to be really problematic for Serral. He will come in and contest this position and should still be able to clean those up. There's the Overseer. He does kind of get this back from what looked to be very, very bad setup.
Yeah, this was a nice cleanup, but Serral is stuck on 4 base completely. He didn't even find the time and space yet to start a 5th base, and he is also only on 6 gas, which is not where you want to be. Going into Lurkers. For now, there's only 1 single Widow Mine, and it actually finds a huge hit once again. There's so little Banelings left over, and Maru can just keep pushing forward at this point.
Yep, just gonna keep on stimming forward. Is there any stopping him right now? You need some really good Baneling connections. You get some of them to the top side. There's 1 Baneling left running forward here. A few more about to finish morphing in, as Maru has to make a choice. Does he want to keep on pushing forward? It looks like he will. 2-2 against 1-1 at the moment. Sorry, 2-1 against 1-1. He's about to finish up his +2 armor now. These Banes just aren't quite finding enough. 1 more Baneling gets taken down. The Queens and the Hydras try to be a final stand, but Maru's going to be able to stim in and kill off a couple of those. No, transfusions are okay to keep this going for the moment. And the Queen defense will stand for a little while longer, but Serral does not have many Banelings to work with at the moment either.
Yeah, absolutely. And usually you also don't want to lose these Hydras in these engagements. Serral is moving all the Hydras forward with the Banelings. There's a bunch of Miss Micro going on. GG is called, and Maru takes clean sweep once again at 3-0, Wardy.